Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I've grown into the person that I am today. And I was reading through the comments from like the last 2 weeks of videos, and I was like, what do I want to talk about today? I was going to bring out some meditation books, and I thought, no, I just want to kind of wing it today. I'm in a good mood today. I just want to getting ready to go up to the pool with my neighbor, and so I thought, let's just kind of wing it over here. I just filmed a video over my Peter Watches TV channel. I didn't want to go downstairs and get the meditation book, so I was like, okay, let me look through these comments. So I saw this comment on here, and it was on my video called Don't Wait, and this was about when I was talking about a comment that somebody sent me. I said that, I can't remember who I said it. I think I said it was either Tia or Emily, and it was actually Mare that sent it to me, so I want to thank Mare for sending me the comment about reminding of the fact that, like, my mom had, she always saved stuff. She would buy it and save it for later, but later never came, and I was using this example of this, like, entire Halston. It wasn't even just a sheet set. It was, I mean, a bedspread, a blanket, everything, shams, pillow shams, and she saved it, and she was always so excited about it. Like, she would, like, say, oh, I can't wait, you know, till I get to use that, you know, when I move into my new house or whatever. And then she moved into her new condo, and she didn't, you know, use them then, and she was always waiting, and, you know, and, like, she would, you know, have the same sheets for like 10 years that she'd like wash every couple days and put them back on her, you know, but she like never used this sheet set that she absolutely loved. And so, you know, it was a lesson for me, like, don't save things, you know? So anyway, on this video, somebody left a comment. I don't say people's names over here from the comments, and they said, my hubby will look at a stack of my stuff and say, I can only imagine what treasures are hiding in there. Rude, right? And I thought it was such a funny comment because down in the kitchen, I have a box on a chair. Like, if you see me film videos in the kitchen, you've probably seen the box. In the box is either things that people have sent me that I'm going to show, or they're things that I've gotten from, like, Amazon. Like, right now, it is, like, high, because I'm getting ready to do a haul like on Saturday or Sunday on my Peter Does Stuff channel. So I've gotten like Amazon packages. I got a package from a place where I ordered some clothes. I have other things. So I put them over there, right? And that's what I keep in that box. And Alex will come by and he'll be like, he'll just kind of like put his fingers over the box. He's like, oh, what did you order? They're like, there's surprises in here and stuff like that. So he kind of makes a similar comment to me, which I think is really funny. But that's not what I was thinking about when I read your comment. You know, when I read your comment, what I was thinking about was, it's interesting how, like, in relationships, you understand somebody's language. You know what I mean? And I think that, you know, I've talked a lot about marriage counseling and what we believe is, like, the importance of marriage counseling. It was so interesting because we went and saw Stevie Nicks on Tuesday night. And at one point in her concert, she sings Leather and Lace. And she brings out her voice coach, and she's had her voice coach for 25, she said, well, not 25 years, longer than that. She said that she's worked with him since 1995, and that every concert that she does since 1995, if he's not there with her in person, and he comes out and he sings Leather and Lace with her, but she was like, if he's not there with me in person, like, we either talk on the phone for 40 minutes, and we do, like, vocal lessons, or, like, you know, we'll warm up through Zoom or whatever. She's like, but since 1995, every concert that I've ever done, like, he's gotten me ready for the concert. You know, and my husband and I, we've always compared marriage counseling to, like, a great singer, like, having a vocal coach. And it's interesting when I say that, how many people will be like, yeah, a lot of great singers don't have vocal coaches. Well, like Madonna, which, I mean, people could say she's not a great singer. Okay, but Mariah Carey, Celine Dion's even come out and talked about having a vocal coach. And now here we have Stevie Nicks coming out talking about her vocal coach. I mean, you know, people could say, oh, well, they're not great singers, but a lot of really great singers. Adele's come out and talked about how she's had a vocal coach. And so it's people that, like, have, like, what they want to keep it and to improve upon it greater. They have coaches to get them to that next point. And that's how Alex and I have always looked at marriage counseling. Yeah, not at the beginning. At the beginning, it was to save our marriage. But now one of the reasons that we go is to continue to, like, challenge ourselves on having the best. I mean, for us, it's like, if we're going to be in this marriage, we might as well have the best marriage we possibly can, you know? The best relationship, the best love, and all that kind of stuff. And how can we do that? How can we get to the point where it's like, we are just so supportive and so loving of each other on every level, right? And I think a huge part of that is communication. I think that's a big part of what's come out of marriage counseling. And I think anybody that goes to any kind of counseling probably knows this word communication. But what does it really mean? Well, communication is really not only how do we talk to one another, but how do we listen to one another? And not only how do we listen, but are you hearing or are you listening? Like, I can remember saying to my mom back in the day, you're listening, but, like, you're not hearing what I'm saying. Like, you're just like, she would wash dishes. My Aunt Kathy did the same thing. And they'd be like, I'd be telling a story, you know, she'd be like, But she wasn't hearing what I was saying. She was listening to it, but she wasn't hearing it, right? It's like listening to a song 100 times, but never knowing the words, right? And I was like, you don't, like, ever hear what I'm saying, right? And that's really the art of communication, is really listening to what somebody is saying, responding, not reacting, but responding to what somebody is saying. And maybe in that moment, you're not in a place, maybe you need to come back 2 days later, say, well, I don't really know what I think about that. I'll have to come back to you later and talk about this, But it's also about listening to what that person's saying, responding to it, being respectful of that. And then in kind, they will be respectful of you, hopefully. And that's kind of how you work that all out, right? And it's funny when you left this comment, because I was thinking of my husband's laundry basket in the corner, which he actually just did laundry the last 2 days, so it's all clean right now. But I can remember when we first got together. And I think, when you first move in with each other, that's when you really learn stuff about each other, It's like, old days, it was you didn't move in with somebody until after you were married and stuff like that. And, and I know that there's still people that believe in all that kind of stuff. I think when you move in with somebody is when you really start to learn about who they are. Things that you never in a million years would have put on your list about this drives me crazy, is all of a sudden things that drive you crazy, right? Things that you would never have in a million years, it would never have been on your radar when you were just dating, but you move in with somebody and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, it's like nails on the chalkboard to me, right? And so for me, it was that my husband would, every day he wears new clothes. He doesn't ever wear the same, I will wear the same pair of jeans 2 or 3 days in a row. He doesn't. He'll every time, well, his pajamas, he wears the same thing a couple days in a row. But mostly when he comes home from work, he throws it in the laundry pile and then he does laundry every month or two, right? But every day he wears a new outfit. Well, the laundry pile would get so high, it would drive me crazy. And I can remember we were living together for a couple months, and I would say something about it on a regular basis. And very much my kitchen, box that's overpiling. It's very similar to that, right? But now I have my million excuses for why that box is okay where it's at, even though it drives him crazy, But his laundry basket was driving me crazy because I would just walk in. Because I'm the person that's if I have a load of laundry, I do a load of laundry. He doesn't. He waits, right? And so I would come into the room and I would look over the laundry. I would oh my God, just probably how he is with me and come into the kitchen. The kitchen is clean, but he looks over there, he sees all this stuff, right? I'm I'm saving it for an unboxing. I'm saving it for a haul. So I can remember, I had said something a couple times about this laundry basket. And finally, he said to me one day, he said, we're going to be together for a while, right? And I said, well, yeah, I hope so. And he goes, and we're going to be sharing space together, right? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm 12 years my husband's senior, so he's educating me on this at this point, right? He goes, do you think it's fair that we share a lot of space in this house? And I was like, true, we do. And he said, could I have my side of the room and you could have your side of the room? Because, he sleeps on this side of the bed, I sleep on this side of the bed. He's like, you have your nightstand, I have my nightstand. I don't tell you what to keep in your nightstand. You don't tell me what to keep in my nightstand. I don't tell you that you need to put the fan on because we keep a fan on the couch over there, that you need to put it on the floor, not on the couch. He was like, can I just have my side of the room? Have my laundry basket over there? And I was like, I think you can have your side of the room. And I was like, this is such a, that's something that really, back in the day, I think about early relationships, not just this one, but any relationship. Those are things that would have been fights, right? I remember being in therapy and we were talking about love languages and stuff like that, right? And one of the things that my husband said to me is, one of the things that he was like, you make the bed every day and the bedroom looks really nice. He was like, but you do that stuff for you. And I go, no, I do it because I want you to come home to a nice made bed and the bedroom to smell nice and the bathroom clean and whatever. He goes, but I don't care about that stuff. Because my husband will get into a messy bed. He could care less. I need it to look like a hotel room bed. He's like, but I don't care about that stuff. He was like, the things I care about are when I come home, okay, could the garbage can, could you have brought it in for the day? That way I don't have to do it, The other stuff that I do when I come home, could it just be that way I can just go home, I can come home and I can just come upstairs after being gone all day long and I can relax, right? I was like, I can totally do that, right? So I started doing that. And he was like, that's kind of my love language. That I like is that when people do acts of service for me, that's one of the love languages. And so we talked about that, and it was just communicating and listening, right? And he was like, and then, I said to him, which is interesting because when we first got together, our love languages were completely different. They've changed over time. And so, I started telling him things that meant a lot to me and whatever. And I really like romantic gestures. And so he's really worked hard at doing more romantic gestures and things like that. And, it's interesting because at first, where I saw this communication thing being a problem, like, oh my God, like, how do I communicate to him that this laundry basket is driving me crazy? Well, really, that's my issue, not his, right? Or that the basket in the kitchen is driving him crazy. Well, really, that's, you know, it's like each of our issues, right? But the communication thing, having been in therapy for so long now, is so interesting because it's really like a new way to get to know somebody. It's really about learning about your partner over and over again as they change and as they evolve. Instead of seeing communication as being a problem, like we talk about communication problems, like that's something that a lot of people talk about in marriage counseling, right? We have communication problems. Instead of looking at it as communication problems, you know, look at it as looking into different ways to communicate. Looking at communication as a way to get to know your partner, you know? Caroline and I, my cousin, we went out to lunch. We've gone out with her twice, but a good family friend of ours that's in her 80s, she and her husband have been married like for 60 years, right? And so I said to her one day, I said, because she had just had a birthday, I think she was like 85, and I said, like, do you, like, something about she and her husband have been together forever. But they were both in the hospital room when my mom passed away. Very dear friends of my aunt and uncles and things like that. And I said to her, I said, you know, do you guys ever get like bored of each other? And she goes, no, not at all. She's like, that's the exciting thing about marriage, right? She's like, you change and evolve and grow so much every year, every month, every week, that you constantly, if you continue to communicate with that person, ask that person new questions, you get to meet your husband all over again, and they get to change and grow, and you get to change and grow, and they get to meet you all over again. And I remember her saying that, and I thought, wow, like, what a way to look at marriage and communication in a completely positive way. Instead of us looking at, like, we don't communicate, we have bad communication, it's a problem, look at it as a tool to get to know each other all over again, you know? I mean, maybe next year my husband will be like, can you clean up your side of the room? And I'll be like, hey, how times have changed, and we'll both laugh over that, right? The things that meant so much to me early days in a relationship are not things that I'm willing to fight over today. They just aren't, you know? My husband has every right to have his side of the room, and I have every right to have my side of the room. That's not a fight that we're either one of us willing to have today. You know what I mean? I have 15 pairs of Birkenstocks over here. He has 20 pairs of sneakers underneath the couch. I could care less. You know what I mean? I just want my husband to be happy. I want to be happy. I want us to be happy together. That's really the key, you know? How do you make each other happy? How do you respect one another? How do you listen to one another? How do you get to know each other over and over and over again? I think some people forget that we change and grow, and you got to change and grow with somebody and get to know that person over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, right? That's exciting. You can look at that as an exciting way, or you can look at that as a detriment. It's all up to you. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you guys. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.